Hi, I'm Chris Turley, and welcome back to my blog. It is the beginning of 2014. Happy New Year to everybody out there. At this time of the year, many people that have been thinking about possibly changing from the home they're in now to a different type of property, well, they start to take action. And the question that is often posed to me is, well, how do I get from A to B? I mean, I've got a house that I own now. I either have a mortgage on it or I don't have a mortgage on it, but my equity's wrapped up in the property. The question is, how do I get from this property to the next property? So what often is considered by a buyer and many buyer agents is the idea of what's called a contingent offer. And that simply means that I want to buy a different house, and I'm going to tell that seller my offer is contingent upon me selling my home. Now, obviously that sounds good. I do recommend, by the way, before you go any further, that you check with a lender and find out what you can do with your home sold and what can you do maybe without your home sold. And that could also dictate what your options might be. So let's go back to the scenario where you got to sell the home that you have, or you want to sell the home you have before you buy the next home. If you make your offer contingent upon the sale of your current property, there's a couple things that are clearly negative for you. Number one, the seller that is entertaining such an offer is going to be much less likely to negotiate any type of a price reduction with you if you're telling them that, hey, by the way, the offer that I'm making on your home is contingent upon something that may happen at some point, but would you please attach your cart to my horse and maybe take your house off the market. The sellers are not going to be willing to A, take their house off the market, B, they're not going to negotiate theoretically in the same manner as they would if you were not attaching this to something that hasn't even remotely occurred yet, meaning the sale of your property. So that is one thing you give up with a contingent offer, is possibly a lot of money in the negotiating process. Number two, you lock in with a seller at maybe a higher price than you might have otherwise. You now go and put your house on the market. That seller is going to continue to want to sell their home on the open market and give you what's called a right of first refusal. We can talk more about that later. But what that means, in effect, is that while you're trying to sell your home, that seller could conceivably have their house on the market, and you could see another one that you like better, but you're locked in to this other property that you've initially committed to. Also, there's the possibility that seller, while they're marketing the home that you're under contract with them for, upon the period that you might sell your actual house, well, they might actually drop the price of their home below the price that you've agreed to pay for it. So these things are not just theoretical, they can actually happen. So there's a number of reasons to really consider what you're doing before you make what's called a contingent offer. I would talk to a very, very strong real estate agent like myself about the best way to approach this process that I am asked about frequently at this time of the year. How do I get from the current home I have now to the next property? So I want to again wish you a great new year from Chile State College, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon. You can always reach me at christurleykbb at comcast.net, or simply drop me a text or give me a phone call at my cell, 814-880-2308, and thanks for your valuable time as always. Take care.